The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business. From $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Ardor SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate. I'm Tim Calloway. We have a very special guest for you today from the San Diego, California area, Katie Herrick. Katie is with the Katie Herrick Group. Welcome to the show, Katie. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much, Tim, for inviting me on. Excited to be here today.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun. So, beautiful San Diego, right? Some great weather. You know, I was doing my due diligence.
Finest city.
Yeah, it is beautiful. I love it there. I've been there numerous times. I lived on the West Coast for some time, and there's not much. There aren't many cities as beautiful, I think, as San Diego. People claim it, you know. Everybody's got a story about their city, but being kind of bipartisan and not living there, I would say San Diego's really beautiful. So I was looking on your site, and just a funny anecdote real quick. I was doing some due diligence on you and your group and everything else, and I scrolled down to the bottom, and I loved it. I'm in Southern Florida, so you have to know that right away, right? So I'm in Southern Florida, and I see you on the golf cart in front of a colonial style home, and I go, hey, she's in Florida, because everybody has a colonial style home. Not where I'm at, more the Orlando area, but not so much down here in Southeast Florida. But everybody's got a colonial home in Orlando with a golf cart.
We like to call them more coastal colonial here.
There you go, coastal colonial.
Yeah. And the golf cart is a necessity in certain neighborhoods, and it really is a game changer. To be able to, pick up your kids from school or drive to a local soccer, baseball game and put all the gear in the golf cart and come home without sand in your car with boogie boards and surfboards and the cooler, like the luxury golf carts actually have built-in coolers, which is really cool too. So the golf cart is a coastal necessity.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a block and a half from the coast, and I just look down. If I looked out the window, I'd just see them cruising over the bridge. You really do have to have them. When I was a kid, I lived on the coast, but my dad had a 4-wheel drive that he would drive on the beach, and man, you talk about sand all over the place between my hair and my clothes and my toys or whatever, and I heard about it constantly. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So
the beach cruisers and then an outdoor shower. That's the other thing that
outdoor showers for sure. For sure. I think everybody needs one of those, whether they're by the coast or not. Whether it's a mud room or a shower, they need one of the two. So tell me how you got started. Have you always been in real estate, and have you always been in the San Diego area in doing so?
Sure. So I'm originally from Kansas City.
Okay.
And I grew up spending summers in San Diego my whole life since summer of 91. I was about 6 or so when we started coming with my grandparents. And I recently went back to Kansas City for a reunion, and all of my high school friends, no one was shocked that I live in San Diego, because I guess I've talked about San Diego my whole life and how I was going to live there. And I used to spend weekends, my parents would bribe me that if I actually went to Sunday school, I would circle open houses in the newspaper, and my dad and I would go. And as a little girl, I spent every summer on the beach. If I wasn't in the ocean boogie boarding, I would be physically building houses in little cities on the beach with my little sister and different styles. So I guess I have always loved real estate. My first job out of college, I worked at the Hotel Del Coronado, and I was a meeting and event coordinator. And I did that for about a year while I was getting my real estate license and just kind of figuring out what I wanted to do with life. And I was fortunate enough, I got a couple promotions along the way, and I worked on meetings, corporate meetings, conferences, and then weddings. And mentors of mine thought I would have the personality for real estate and encouraged me to pursue it. So I actually went the commercial route, and I did commercial real estate for about 7 years before having kids.
Right.
And I correlated it into two different things. Nights and weekends was weddings,
Right.
and commercial real estate was Monday through Friday, and it was corporate dollars. So when I planned conferences and they'd say, Katie, give me a budget. Here's our objective. This is what we need to do. Make it happen. And residential real estate was more dealing with moms and bridezillas. So
Right.
I tried the corporate real estate. And after I had my first son, I tapped into a whole new group called moms.
Sure.
And they were asking if I could help them with their single family home. A lot of them had bought maybe a townhome or a condo. And after the baby came and they had the stroller going up and down elevators and townhouse stairs, they maybe needed a little bit more space or a yard or, something just larger. So I actually referred quite a few transactions to a residential realtor. One of my best friends from college and who I actually moved to San Diego with had asked me if I could help her with her own personal residence. So I kind of tested the water with a dear friend. She knew I was doing commercial at the time, but interested, and I found it really fun and something maybe I was really good at. So I then tested the waters with strictly a referral and a market I didn't know as well. And this was in 2013 that I made that transition. So I got into real estate in 2007. And so it actually would have been 2012, 2013 when I was just kind of testing the waters to see, when I go back to work full time, I love real estate and I love contracts and I love negotiation. I love helping people. But if I'm going to be away from my husband and my one son at the time, who do I want to dedicate my time with? And I just found it so much more rewarding to help someone buy a home, just to help someone progress their life forward, help someone sell a home and, retire or move on to another home or downsize. So I made the switch officially then in 2014 full-time to residential, and I've never looked back. So I kind of teetered in 2013 of what side I wanted to go in, and it's been such an amazing move. I was fortunate enough that my mentor, I had taken her out for coffee when I was kind of serious about it, and I sat her down and she was like, Katie, I think you would be a no-brainer, and planted the seed in my head. And then we were actually at her client appreciation party, and my old boss was there, and he was asking when I was going to come back into the office. And she just looked at me and she goes, so are you ready to come aboard? And I was like, I think I am.
Yeah.
And we sat down and we did another coffee that Monday or Tuesday. And she was listed as a top 40 under 40 realtor in the San Diego community. She won all these crazy awards in our company. And she just said, Katie, I'd love to work with you, and I'm going to teach you everything I know.
Wow.
So I made the move and I've never looked back.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I definitely agree that you mentioned the word love, like you love helping people find that new home. And if you don't have that passion and you're doing it just for the dollar or it's because you think you're good at it, it gets pretty hard to wake up on a Sunday morning or even Saturday morning for some folks and go to an open house for 4 to 6 hours and miss that time with your family. But if you understand it, and make it work because you love what you do, it's not that hard,
Nope.
and it's a good integration to your life. Hey, we get 24 hours in a day. Doesn't mean it has to be from 9 to noon that I spend with my kids. Most of the time my kids were asleep anyway or doing something else, but you're always able to make it work. But that's fantastic. So that's how you got started. Sounds like you had a great mentor for sure, and that's a big part of it. are you in, I'll kind of get to what you're doing today and the market you're working in, but do you now give back in that way? I mean, do you mentor? I know you have a team. Are you
Yes.
mentoring other?
So I, in the last year, I have started to build a team, and I've been bringing on some newer agents and trying to teach them the way that my mentor taught me,
Nice.
how to manage time, how to get started in your real estate career and really spearhead your business, all while still trying to dedicate family time, to wives and kids too.
Sure. Yeah,
And
that's
just have that balance. So yes,
yeah.
so that is, as my boys are getting older and maybe not as hands-on as much, I'm able to kind of build and grow and give back.
Yeah, that's fantastic for sure. So let's talk about your business today. How are you building your business? You started a team within the past year, so that's kind of next level thinking, obviously. You know, where and how are you finding clients today? We've had a strange real estate market in the past 2 years. We've had just a strange 2 years. I don't care if you're in real estate or whatever, but we've had a strange, it's actually been closer, almost 3 years coming up. How have you
I would
adapted?
say 95% of my business, regardless of what kind of market we are in, is my whole goal is to really take care of the client
Yeah,
and I try to go above and beyond and go the extra mile for the client, that they feel protected and that our team has done a really great job looking out for their best interests. And then, I think there's no better testimonial than someone that you have worked with in the
sure.
past. So I work 95% off of referrals.
Nice.
And I've been really fortunate that that's kind of how I built my business. And I love to host client appreciation parties. I do little gifts on clients' doorsteps, just letting them know I'm thinking about them.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes some like cool little accessories they can use for holidays or little
Yeah,
tidbits about the market when things are changing. That doesn't mean that, I haven't gotten business from past homes or, some
yeah,
marketing that I have done. I'm taking on my fourth listing on a complex that I've sold in the last year. So I certainly do that too. And then some of it's organic. I mean, I've been in the business for quite some time,
right.
but I still do open houses. And if I met you, Tim, and I felt like we had a great connection,
Mm-hmm.
I do reach out and share, I'd love to help you and your family or just help
Yeah,
you move forward. So some is from open houses and marketing, but I would say 95% is repeat business and referrals from my existing and wonderful clients.
very nice. Yeah, that's fantastic. So if I before we get into kind of what the future looks like for you and maybe your master plan, because that's going to come up next, but I would ask you this. If I had a magic wand, and I was able to do an abracadabra and fix something maybe that you've had consistent issue with, what might that be?
I think time management is always, is always a little bit of a challenge. Sometimes, if you go to a restaurant or a buffet, sometimes my appetite is bigger than, what I can actually take, and
Right.
learning to delegate. I'm still learning
Yeah.
to rely on my team and delegate. For so long, I really was a one woman shop,
Yeah.
and learning that I have amazing people and I can assign them tasks. And yeah, maybe they don't do it exactly the way I do, or maybe they don't do it as quick as I would do, but they're still going to put their heart and soul into it and they're going to get the job done.
Right.
Um, in the shifting market, I mean, I kind of look back at, I got into real estate in November 2007 as the
Mm,
market was crashing. I mean,
good
that was a
timing.
terrible time to
Yeah.
leave a full paying job. I
Sure.
did wait tables for many years, while I was trying to make it into real estate,
Right.
but I somehow I'm still standing. And so I think that is really important too, is when, there are ebbs and flows in real estate and in the
Right.
market. And when the last couple years it has been phenomenal and it has been so busy, but I haven't really had a lot of personal time.
Right.
So now I'm kind of embracing that, but still going back to basics, working hard, reaching out to clients, and
Right.
in market when things are transitioning and there's so many questions, I think it's important to be a really good resource and advisor.
Yeah. The consultative part really comes into play, being that consultant that they really came to you in the first place for, right? You
Absolutely.
may be able to sell their house in 30, or maybe you had in the past and didn't get that opportunity to really be a consultant because it just all flew by so quickly. And then when things balance out like they seem to be doing a bit, then it's really that boots on the ground mentality. So let's jump to the next question that I forewarned you about. Let's put on our prognostication hats real quick. And what does the next year, maybe 3 years or 5 years, you're building the team now.
Yeah.
So what is the next, let's start with a year. What does the next year look like for you?
Well, I think it's going to be a really great time with opportunity. Yes, these rates have gone up, right?
Mhm.
But I think as the prices are kind of starting to come down, there is a lot of opportunity for buyers right now and still
Yeah.
for sellers. In San Diego, we actually are behind. We only have a 2 month supply of inventory, which
Mhm.
isn't enough. So at a leveling market, you tend to see that you really have 3 to 4 months supply. We only have two. So for sellers, I think there's still quite a bit of opportunity if
Right.
you listen to what we say and you prep your house accordingly and price
Right.
aggressively, we're going to
Right.
get your home sold. But
Right.
for buyers, what I'm seeing is that, there's so much opportunity for them. And anything that's been on the market longer than, I don't know, 3 days, 4 days,
Yeah.
which that was what it kind of used to be, is if you didn't go see a house and on Monday at 5, if you still saw it active, it was like, oh, what's going on with it, right?
Yeah.
Now we're seeing things take a little bit longer. So
Yeah.
kind of a slogan that we're saying on our team is date the rate, marry the house,
Right.
right?
For sure.
If you fall in love with the home, buy it.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable with the payments, buy the real estate. You're building equity. You're not worried that your landlord in 12 months is going to increase your rent or
Right.
give you a notice to be out. So that's really one thing on our team that we're really kind of having those conversations with our clients in terms of personal. I'm actually hoping that I can take some time off. I have a big birthday coming up in the
Oh,
summer,
congratulations.
and it's always been a dream of mine to my kids are old enough now that they're at ages that we can travel. And so, boots on the ground, my team
Yeah.
for 2 weeks, maybe a month if we're lucky. And if I can give up that control for that long, we're gonna go to Europe. I spent my 18th birthday in Barcelona, and I would like to either be in Barcelona or Greece on my 40th birthday.
Nice. Well, yeah, that would be awesome. Other countries like in Greece and Spain, which I have at least in Spain a very good coworker and friend, and he's like, "Oh no, we take a month off at a time and go, travel and do this," and it's just everybody does it that way, and I'm like, man, I can barely get 3 days off to go to Disney World, or whatever it might be anymore. My kids are all in their 20s and almost 30, but in the States, I agree with you. That's the ideal situation, right? And that's
Take
what
the
should be.
holiday. And
Yeah.
that's what I remind myself. I've been planning my 40th since I turned 30, and that I want to travel. My kids are
Yeah,
old enough, and it's about experience and memories. And you learn so much outside of a classroom when you're in different cultures and learning how to communicate
for
and learning
sure.
how to read metro maps and
Yeah,
riding trains. That if I don't have the best year in business, that's okay. But that's kind of been the emphasis of the building blocks for the last couple of years, is let's get a really good team in place that
hmm,
Katie can fulfill these dreams,
yeah, for sure.
that we can do something that's really important.
Yeah, I think that's important for the soul and for the family, the longevity of the family and everything else amongst a lot of other things. So how would anybody get in touch with you if they either wanted to buy a home in the San Diego area, maybe list a home, or maybe they just want to talk to you about, your experience as a realtor, and maybe, grab some of your knowledge? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Absolutely. I love to chat on the phone, so a phone call, but I'm all over social media. I have a website. They can text me, they can email, whatever, communication method is best for them. You're welcome to share. I think you have all my Instagram and social
Sure,
media
I
accounts
do.
and my cell phone and email, but I'm still a little bit old school. Is I like to physically come in and see a home, or if it's a
Right.
new buyer, I want to sit down and have a consultation. I do a lot of virtual consultations, but some people are actually wanting to meet in person again. So I
Yeah,
bring it to where
great.
Compass office is. We have multiple in San Diego. So sometimes we meet if
Right.
it's close to their home or to their work. And I learn about their goals. I learn about their goals in selling. And, we put together strategic plans. So when they're ready on what other side of the transaction that they're on, that we have a really solid plan and that we're able to perform.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, Katie, we're kind of winding down here, and what I usually do is you're the star of the show, so allow you, whatever much time you need to kind of have the last word. And if there's something you want to discuss, or maybe talk a little more about business, or your favorite pet shelter, right? It's up to you. The floor is
Well,
yours.
sure. So one thing I always like to say is real estate is fun. It shouldn't be stressful. And the more you put in, the more you get out. That's something I really pride myself in. Is I like to have fun along the way. I like to be able to have a glass of wine or have a beer with clients.
Right.
And that's we're going to figure out any situation. I just came from a home inspection, and the termite inspector and the home inspector couldn't figure out how to open the attic and the roof. And I'm like, well, that's easy. Let's figure it out. Let's go to the
Yeah.
garage. And,
Right.
I found a broom and I found a step stool and we opened up the attic. So there's simple solutions for everything.
Right.
Um, and that's really kind of where my team and I like to come in and really understand the client's needs and help them progress their life forward.
That's fantastic. Sage
And
advice.
we like to have
Good.
fun and laugh along the way.
Yeah, having fun is a big part of it. And in the real estate industry is fun, and every day can be different and a new exciting adventure. So that's great, great advice. And I love what you had to say. Katie, thanks so much for being on the show. We really enjoyed it. And maybe we can catch up 3, 6, 9 months down the road.
I'd love to, Tim. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you. And you have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.